Good morning, BookTube, YouTube. This is Johnny. Got to make a video. My mantra. It is for. It doesn't work. It is 9:52 in the morning here in Southwest Michigan. There's a Sunday. It's April the 27th. And yeah, it's a sunny spring day. It's probably in the 40s. Writing in my paper diary. I'm not really in the mood to read this morning. I don't know. Like I've said, I'm kind of out of it these days. And maybe you do something for a number of years and you just get kind of burnt out. You just get sick of doing the routine. And so I don't really feel like reading anything this morning. So I'm sitting here and I thought I'd do a video because I got a book in the mail yesterday. And I thought I'd show you the book. I got this book in the mail yesterday. I had come across it in Amazon. As I told you, Amazon knows the things that I buy. So this is Ellmann's Joyce, the biography of a masterpiece and its maker by Zachary leader. And what this is, it's why I immediately bought it, is because it is a biography on Richard Ellmann's masterpiece. It's considered one of the greatest biographies of the 20th century. It's James Joyce's, Richard Ellmann's biography on James Joyce. This is the first revision of the 1959 classic. And I used to have the first edition, but somehow I misplaced it. But anyway, this is, if you ever see a hardback 1959 edition of this biography, grab it. So what this is that Zachary Leader goes into the biography of how Richard Ellmann wrote this classic biography on the Irish writer James Joyce, who is famous for his novel, James Joyce's Ulysses. I have two copies. I have a hardback of James Joyce's. I think I've shown you over the years my James Joyce collection. I collect multiple editions of his works and literary studies and biographies, and this is a hardback of James Joyce's Ulysses. This is a paperback. So I got that in the mail yesterday, and I read it yesterday. I read about 70 pages of this yesterday. And yeah, I first read this many years ago when we first moved to Holland, Michigan. I read this, and that was almost 30 some years ago. And it was you know how it is when you read certain books, you read them and you forget them. But when I read this, I was just amazed. It was just a really great reading experience, and it's always stayed with me. And so I got this back out, and maybe I'll reread it. Also, I have this guide on James Joyce's Ulysses by Stuart Gilbert. This is like a study. So when you're reading Ulysses, this is kind of like a guide to this. Now there are many books on Ulysses and studies and things like that. I have some downstairs, but I got this one out in case I do read. See, what I'm trying to say is that I finished last night reading Northwoods by Daniel Mason. I finished reading this. I read it in almost 3 days. It's a very easy read. It was okay. I wouldn't say it blew me away. It was okay. I don't consider it a great piece of literature, but it was interesting. I put it on the same level as Nell Zink's Sister Europe. Now, so I don't know, it was okay. I noticed when I typed this into YouTube, there's a lot of booktubers who read this book and talk about it. Do you want to know more about it? So I finished this. So I thought maybe I would read. I tried to read Ulysses over the years and never succeeded. So I got this out with the guide to maybe I'll read it, actually read it, because I've read enough modernist literature to not get bogged down, to find it difficult to read. You just got to focus. So I might read it. I keep this in my... I did read many years ago when I was younger. I did read James Joyce's A Portrait of a Young Man. So I keep this in my study by my desk. This is his 3 works, The Dubliners, The Portrait of an Artist as a Young Man, and Chamber Music by James Joyce. I keep this in my study. I remember many years ago I read Portrait of Artist as a Young Man, which also was I remember being a rich reading experience. So I keep this in my study by my desk, along with Proust and the works of Robert Stone. I showed you my Robert Stone collection. I also got this book in the mail. Yesterday I ordered this used from Thrift Store Books, Leaving New York, Writers Look Back by Kathleen Norris. I collect books on New York City, the city of New York City, and I came across this somewhere and I ordered it used. And these are writers looking back on their experience of New York City. That's why I got it. It's only a couple of dollars. So I got this in the mail yesterday, the other day. As far as going back to Richard Ellmann, this is so it goes into his life. The author who wrote the biography on James Joyce, Richard Ellmann, it goes into his. It's like the biography of a masterpiece. It's a biography. So it's a biography on Richard Ellmann, and then it goes into how Richard Ellmann and how he did research and contacted all these people in writing his famous biography of James Joyce. Like it says here, Richard Ellmann's James Joyce, published in 1959, was hailed by Anthony Burgess as, quote, the greatest literary biography of the 20th century. Frank Karamoid thought the book would fix Joyce's image for a generation, end of quote. A prediction that was, if anything, too cautious. The biography won the National Book Award and durably secured Joyce's standing as a preeminent modernist. Ellmann's Joyce provides the biography of the biography, exploring how Ellmann came to his subject, gained the cooperation of Joyce's family and estate, shrewdly, doggedly collected vital papers and interviews placated publishers, thwarted competitors, and carefully balanced narrative with literary analysis. Ellmann's Joyce also removes the veil from the biographer, richly rewarded in public, admirable in private life, but also possessed of a startling secret life. The renowned biographer Zachary Leader. Now, Zachary Leader wrote a 2-volume biography on Saul Bellows, which I have downstairs. And he also wrote a biography, Zachary Leader, on Kingsley Amis, which I have downstairs also. And Zachary Leader is a very prominent writer of biographies also. Says here, a renowned biographer himself, Zachary Leader constructs a powerful argument not only in support of Ellmann's intellectual and artistic claims, but also on behalf of literary biography generally. As you all know, I like literary biography. In the process, he takes readers on a rare tour through mid-century publishing houses in New York and London, as well as the corridors and classrooms of elite universities from Yale to Oxford. The influence of Ellmann's book, recognized instantly, persists to this day among literary scholars and Joyce fans alike. So that's why I got it. So this is very famous. So it's a biography on this biography of James Joyce by Richard Ellmann. Richard Ellmann, when he was at Yale, he did his doctorate dissertation on the poet Yeats, and then it was published, and Richard Ellmann wrote this, Yeats, The Man and the Mask by Richard Ellmann. Richard Ellmann's excellent biography of W.B. Yeats makes us see the greatest poet of the century to all his magnificence and individuality. So Richard Ellmann wrote this this was his first biography, and then he wrote James Joyce. And just before Richard Ellmann died, he was working on a biography on Oscar Wilde. So this is his biography on Oscar Wilde. He edited this book, Richard Ellmann and another literary scholar, Charles Feidelson Jr. They did this together. The modern tradition background of modern literature, edited by Richard Ellmann and Charles Feidelson Jr. And this is just background excerpts from modernist writers and different things. I got this used someplace years ago. Also, there is this book on Ulysses by James Joyce. It's the most dangerous book, The Battle of James Joyce's Ulysses by Kevin Birmingham. Ulysses was considered a banned book because there is supposedly in this Ulysses a scene where the main character engages with some kind of sexual relationship with a woman. And I know I've never come across it myself, but it was a banned book at one time. And this is about the most dangerous book, The Battle for James Joyce's Ulysses. Says, for more than a decade, the book that the literary critics now consider the most important novel in the English languages was illegal to own, sell, advertise, or purchase in most of the English-speaking world. James Joyce's big blue book, Ulysses, ushered in the modernist era and changed the novel for all time. But the genius of Ulysses was also its danger. It omitted absolutely nothing. All the minutiae of Leopold Bloom's day, including unspeakable details, unfold with careful precision in its pages. The New York Society for the Suppression of Vice immediately banned the book as, quote, obscene, lewd, and lascivious, end quote. Joyce, along with some of the most important publishers and writers of his era, had to fight for years to win freedom to publish it. The Most Dangerous Book tells the remarkable story surrounding Ulysses from the first stirrings of Joyce's inspiration in 1904 to its landmark federal obscenity trial in 1933. The literary historian Kevin Birmingham follows Joyce's years as a young writer, his feverish work on his literary masterpiece, and his ardent love affair with Nora Barncade, the model for Molly Bloom. Joyce and Nora socialized with literary greats like Ezra Pound, Ernest Hemingway, T.S. Eliot, and Celia Beach. Their support helped Joyce fight an array of anti-vice crusaders while his book was disguised and smuggled, pirated, and burned in the United States and Britain. The long struggle for the publication added the growing pressure of Joyce's deteriorating eyesight, finances, and home life. Salvation finally came from the partnership of Bennett Cerf, the co-founder of Random House, and Morris Ernest, a dogged civil liberties lawyer. With their stewardship, the case ultimately rested on the literary merit of Joyce's masterpiece. The 60-year-old judicial practices governing obscenity in the United States was overturned because federal judge could get inside Molly Bloom's head. Birmingham's archival work brings to light new information about Joyce and the story surrounding Ulysses. Written for ardent Joycean as well as novices who want to get to the heart of the greatest novel of the 20th century, The Most Dangerous Book is a gripping examination of how the world came to say yes to Ulysses. So that's, I just thought I'd show you these books on a Sunday morning here in Southwest Michigan. Yeah, I've been carrying around a copy of Ulysses for almost 50 years. And I haven't got around to reading it. But I have read, many years ago, I know I read a paperback of The Portrait of an Artist as a Young Man by James Joyce. And I have been collecting books on James Joyce. If I see him at used book sales or library withdrawals or used bookstores, I buy books on James Joyce, literary studies, biographies, anything by Richard Ellmann, I'll get. I have a big Oscar Wilde collection in my library. Yeah, I should reread this, Richard Ellmann's James Joyce. It's considered the greatest literary biography ever written. And I just know that when I read it almost over 30 years ago, it just absolutely was magnificent. And that's why I got this book yesterday in the mail, to find out the history of writing of this by Richard Ellmann. Ellmann's Joyce, the biography of the masterpiece and its maker by Zachary Leader. So, yeah, I gotta read, maybe I will read Ulysses, try to read it by James Joyce. So I hope you're having a good Sunday, have a good new reading week. Yeah, I don't know, I'm just, like I said, I'm always kind of out of it. Maybe I'm too lethargic, I sit around too much, and I need to move. I don't know. There's a whole week ahead of me. I have nothing going on this week. Well, I do see my psychologist Tuesday. And I told you, I go there at 1 o'clock Tuesday afternoon. And we just sit around and we talk for about 45 minutes, 50 minutes about just whatever's on my head. And then it's over. And then I see him another 4 weeks. And so I don't know. It's just I'm not really able to talk to anybody. Now I'm talking to you guys in this video. But I don't have any kind of friends. I talk to Carol. So I don't know, I kind of like talking to my psychologist. Plus, if I got anything I want to talk about, something I'm struggling with, depression, anxiety, fear, dread. Why wouldn't you be living in this world? I mean, you look around you in America right now, in the world, what's going on in the Middle East, what's going on in Eastern Europe, the war in Ukraine, and what's going on in Washington, D.C. How can you not be depressed, anxious, and feeling sick? But, as you all know, I just keep praying and keep seeking the Lord's grace and strength to get through the day. And that's why I'm going to go through this new week. We're going to go we're going to the end of April. We're going into the month of May. Spring is here. So you just got to keep realizing that life is very temporal and that this life will come to an end. This country will come to an end. Kingdoms come and go. Just got to keep going through the day. So I hope you have a good new week. A new month, the month of May. Thank you for your comments. And yeah, this morning in my paper diary, I'm on page 382 for the year 2025. Yeah, I collect books in New York City. I don't know, I just saw this and just decided to buy it. So I will close, and once again, thank you for your comments. Thank you for subscribing, and do pray that you have a good new reading week, and until next time. And also, check out Ellmann's Joyce, The Biography of a Masterpiece and Its Maker by Zachary Leader. Pick up James Joyce's biography by Richard Ellmann. And read Ulysses. At least I'll try. Maybe I'll try this week. Since I got nothing else on the burner. I finished North Woods by Daniel Mason. And maybe I'll try to read this week. Really make an effort to read Ulysses by James Joyce. So once again, until next time, may the Lord bless. Bye.